Here's the kicker, Jason Myers, to get this one started. And off we go from Seattle. From the 6. And taken down just past the 20 at about the 21-yard line. So out come the Rams now for their first possession. They'll be led out by a former Pro Bowl quarterback out of the University of Georgia, Matthew Stafford.
And there's a word that constantly gets thrown around with this guy when you talk to anyone in the building. Potential. They are sky high on what they believe he can grow into in the role of a starting quarterback. In addition, there are plenty around the league who think that as well. And years from now, he can still be leading this offense out.
On first down, they'll start out with Akers. And he is met quickly in the backfield. Down he goes, folded like a lawn chair. It'll go as a loss of a yard on the game's first play. Second down.
They have 3 tight ends in that formation. That's almost a universal sign that they're planning to run the football. But how about the defense there? They met force with force and caused a stack up behind the line of scrimmage and threw him for a loss.
On 2nd and 11 now. Stafford, that's complete to his tight end Higbee. And he's brought down at the 24 after a gain of 4.
That was an okay hookup there with his tight end, but unfortunately, they didn't get the kind of yards they had hoped for. That's going to bring up 3rd down.
A tough spot here on their opening drive. This is 3rd and 7. Stafford. And he's caught on the sideline, but he's not going to have a first down. They say he was out of bounds, so a big call there. That brings up 4th.
How about some applause for the defense there? They forced him to throw that one into coverage, and just like that, they're staring at a 4th down. Well done.
Here comes the Rams punter now, as he's on to punt for the first time this afternoon. Fielded at the 33. It'll be a 39-yard punt, give him a good 10 yards on the return. And out will come the offense as they take over. Here come the Seahawks and their offense now under veteran head coach Pete Carroll. And they're led out by their mobile quarterback out of West Virginia. It's Geno Smith.
Every quarterback in the NFL has a little bit of his own signature style out there, but for this guy, he really plays the game in a different way. It's led to a couple double takes from us up here as we see him as something truly unique. It's not that he's just the strongest passer or the best athlete to ever play the position. He just has a certain way of seeing the action, and it allows him to make some special plays out there.
Good starting field position here for the Seahawks as they come up 1st and 10 at their own 43. They'll start out here with a jet sweep. Shifts by him. A solid run on first down, gain of 7, leaves him with a 2nd and 3. The success there, Charles, coming on the outside of the field, the ground game. Curious to see if that continues as we progress.
Yeah, we often talk about a variety in play calling and usually between run and pass. But in this case, with strictly the run game, you can be creative there as well. Run it inside, run it outside, keep the defense off balance.
First carry here for Ken Walker. They'll get 3 as the drive continues. It's a first down.
It's nice every now and then in this game not to see people overthink it. Just hand it to the old reliable guy. Let him pick up the first down.
Off of play action, here's Smith. Out to his left. That's complete to Disley, the tight end. And they'll wind up getting this to the 37, gain of 9.
So much goes into a successful play, doesn't it? How about that play action there, freezing the defense just enough to bring the tight end free downfield for the completion.
Here's 2nd and a yard. Play action. It's Smith. And that throw behind his man, he missed him, incomplete.
Well, touch and time are critical for those types of throws. He put a lot of zip on that one. Needed just a little bit more finesse trying to get it to his back.
They tried the throw on second down, unsuccessful. Now it's 3rd and 1. They'll try for the first with Walker. And he's able to get the first before he's taken down at the 36.
I like his focus there because he wasn't thinking about breaking that one big. All he thought about was, I need one. Let's go get that. Ended up picking up 2.
So from the 36 now, 1st and 10. Now Geno. Going to throw right side here, complete. And he'll be brought down on the 30-yard line after a gain of 6.
That's tough to play zone defense when they can just curl up right there in front of you.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, we talk about finding the soft spot. Defensively, how do you make sure they don't find the soft spot like they did there?
Tough to do because what they normally will do is run routes that'll pull you out of that spot that they want to get into. That's what we call not taking the cheese, right? Don't go for the mousetrap. But it's hard to do because when you see a guy cutting that in that direction, you tend to go towards him.
14 yards that time for number 14.
But it appears that they read man defense and went to the out route, and what you have to do on that one is a receiver's got to make sure he works the defender towards the middle of the field to give himself space to cut to the outside and have that ball delivered with good timing, and they got it done.
Sean McVay unhappy on the sidelines visibly. He's made the decision to reach for the red flag. Did he keep those feet in bounds? That's the question they've got to decide. And I got to say, watching it in real time, it was awfully close.
Yeah, it certainly looked like a heck of a catch because he didn't appear to bobble it, which could complicate things. But even with the benefit of replay, that's pretty tight.
Well, here's the call.
After review of the play, the ruling on the field stands.
So not successful there on the challenge, and he'll have to be careful from here on out because he'll only have one challenge remaining.
Come on, baby, get low. Let's go, boy. Let's go out here. Leave it all out here.
So the ball down to the 16 here for 1st and 10. Able to fight for about 4 yards there to the 13.
Can we just take that run and turn it into a kind of a clip and save? Because that tells you everything you need to know about this drive. They've been moving the ball awfully well.
Now a 2nd down and 6. Back to throw, Smith. They'll lock it with a grab over the middle. Calling a gain of 6 on the play, and that'll leave him with a 3rd and just a yard. Throwing is Smith. He's got it. And he'll be taken down, but he does have 1st down yardage. Well, only their first drive, Charles, but they talked to us about needing to convert on 3rd down, in particular not letting 3rd and short opportunities slip through their fingers. Well, they were successful right there.
It also tells you that they're successful on 1st and 2nd down as well to get to 3rd and manageable and make them able to pick up those 1st downs. Now here we are, 1st and goal. They've got to like what they're doing on this drive.
Here we go now on 1st and goal. Here's Walker. And he'll get this one back to the 5-yard line, but no further than that. They'll say no gain on the play, and it'll be 2nd and goal.
Now, that's a mountain of a man that just made that stop, isn't it? But he's more than that. This guy's nimble and quick. More than a space eater. He just made a great play there.
A line of scrimmage, once again the 5 as they get ready for 2nd and goal. Now Smith. And it's caught. Only able to pick up 2, and that leads us to 3rd and goal.
I'm wondering if the same thing went through your mind as mine. When I see a big man like that make a catch, all I keep thinking to myself is, big man with football. Look out, everyone. He may not juke you a whole lot, right? He may not run past you because of his size. You're talking about a guy weighing in the 270 range. But, boy, once he gets his mitts on the ball, he's going to be tough to bring down.
And this will be caught by Metcalf for a Seahawk touchdown. The 3-yard touchdown pass. And the Seahawks will jump on top with the game's first score here this afternoon. Both sides of the football in sync early. You force the 3 and out, and then you take it down, score points.
You know what that tells me? They sold their game plan really well. Head coach said, listen, we're just going to stop them on 3 and out. We're going to take the ball downfield and score. But he also told them how it was going to happen. They're going to run this. We're going to stuff it. Then we're going to take the ball. They won't be able to keep up with us. And they got it done.
Footing always a concern, but the extra point's up and good. And that makes the score 7-0. They'll begin on the ground with Akers. And not much to speak of. Call it a 1-yard gain up to the 26.
Well, sometimes you just have to give credit to the defense. Great job there at the point of attack, holding up. They won their battles at the line of scrimmage, left him no space to try and run. A really nice job swarming to the ball carrier.
Off the fake to Akers, here's Stafford. Toward the sideline, and look at that catch. Dragging the toes, and that's going to be a first down. Well done. A good pickup there, a 22.
Let's make this one simple. What a catch, especially the finishing part of getting his feet in bounds, toe tapping, and, of course, foot dragging.
Little tapestry, if you will.
Oh, I like it.
Play action. Stafford sliding out of the pocket toward the sideline, and that is a nice catch as he's able to tiptoe his way out of bounds. All that for a 2-yard gain, second down. After one, 7-0 on EA Sports. The Rams with the football here to begin the second quarter, as they've got a 2nd and 8 forthcoming. From the 50, Stafford. He'll get this into the hands of Van Jefferson. And that'll wind up moving the chains again as the tackle's going to be made at the Seahawks 34-yard line. Stafford finding Jefferson there, first down L.A. Back to throw again. And his throw's going to be incomplete.
It sort of looks like they still have some fight in them on this series because it seemed like things were headed for the red zone. But if this defense gets 2 more stops, they can keep them out of that area.
So now 2nd and 10 after the incompletion on first down. Throwing again is Stafford. On the throw, led him too much that time. It's incomplete.
I know coaches tell us all the time that having a powerful arm isn't the #1 thing they look for in a quarterback. But when you're trying to throw inside routes and you need to put some heat on it, it helps have the big gun. In this case, just a little bit too much.
This offense was on the move. Now 2 straight incompletions have them looking at 3rd and 10. To throw is Stafford. And now another one thrown incomplete. Just what Seattle was hoping for. The coverage holds, and now 4th down.
Oh, they'll certainly be on the tablets going over that one for sure. Clearly, they were expecting something else out of the defense and couldn't adjust to make that completion happen.
And this is off target to the left. Didn't get there anyway. It's no good, and this will stay at a 7-point game.
NFL kickers nowadays, they make things look so easy because normally from this range, about 2 out of 3. And this is not an easy kick.
Yeah, 20 years ago, you get where he was in that 50 range, maybe a little over, and it's a big kick. But now we just, if they leave it short, you're like, whoa, what happened? And that's what we have here.
Yeah, you're right. 20 years ago, we were saying run some more plays and get closer. Now we think they're definitely within range, and you're exactly right. When it comes up short, there has to be something that went wrong because they have plenty of leg.
And because they couldn't hit the long field goal, they are set up nicely offensively at the 41, 1st and 10. They'll fake the handoff. Now Smith. Looking for Lockett, and he's got him working his way free across the middle. And they'll get this to the 30-yard line before crossing over out of bounds. He got 29 yards that time.
That's a nice throw there, and he's obviously feeling pretty good because, remember, he had a touchdown pass on the last drive, and here he comes out throwing again, and they wind up getting good yardage and a 1st down right out of the gate.
So from Rams territory now, it's 1st and 10 at the 30-yard line. Now it's Smith. And he's got it. Caught in the end zone for the Seahawk touchdown. Tyler Lockett, 30 yards. And the Seahawks are able to strike quickly to add on to their lead. Well, you know he can be explosive, and he's ultra-explosive there on the fly route.
And you know how many times we've talked to coaches and we've had quoted back to us, well, you know something? When you execute really well, it doesn't matter if they know it's coming or not. But sometimes athleticism beats you as well. He just took off and went. That's almost like one of your Turkey Bowl games, isn't it? Just go long,
Backyard.
man. I'll hit you. And it worked really well for them.
Extra point up and through by Myers. And that'll make the score 14-0. After the touchdown, here's Myers to boot it away. Taken from about the 12. And he'll get it up just past the 20 as his guys will go to work at the 21-yard line. The offense for Los Angeles returns to the field. And this not an easy situation. You're down early, in the elements, you're on the road. How do you get the mojo back?
Well, one thing is to remember that as an offensive player, you have a much better idea of what you're trying to accomplish and where you're trying to go than the defender. So in this case, because you know it, you can make your cuts with a little more decisiveness, maybe a second fake, some double moves, things of that nature to go ahead and try and put some pressure on the defense.
On 1st down, it's Stafford. Toward the left sideline, but it's incomplete. Van Jefferson was the intended receiver, but it's going to be 2nd down. Great coverage there all around. Really didn't have many options to throw the football. Very little chance that that one was going to be completed. Every receiver was locked up. From the 21, it's 2nd and 10. Now Stafford. Over the middle, that's hauled in by Cup. That'll leave them with a 3rd and 2 coming up. They got 8 yards there.
I always laugh when people say, what's the toughest route to defend? And I'm like, any of them, especially if it's a good receiver. That makes things very difficult. But when you're running a drag route, something short, shallow, going through defenders, using guys almost as screens in order to get open, that makes things tougher, guys trying to get to the football.
And he's going to have the first down, yardage to the 35. Give him the 3rd down conversion, 5 yards on the play.
I don't know about you, but that almost felt like old-time football there. 3rd and 2 is not necessarily just a running down anymore. A lot of times they want to throw the ball. They went back to the roots and powered forward and got the first down.
Ball up to the 35 now as they come up on 1st and 10. Stafford now to throw. He'll get this one to Kupp, complete. And just a yard to go here on 2nd down. They'll fake it. Now Stafford. Under a heavy rush, and down he goes. They'll wind up losing 10 on the sack, and it'll lead to a 3rd and long.
Well, if the goal is to get back into this game, the offense is certainly moving in the wrong direction. This is certainly a case where one team needs big splash plays right now, but unfortunately, it's the other team that's getting them.
There's no way we're going down.
So now Stafford and the Rams after the sack. And they're staring up at a 3rd and long. On 3rd down, he'll drop to throw. Under pressure, they got him again. Dropped for a loss of 7 by multiple defenders. Well, you're already up a couple of scores here in the first half defensively, and Charles, they just seem to be playing really free on that side of the football.
I love the observation because with that type of a lead, they feel like they can take a few more chances and be even more aggressive, and it's been paying off for them so far this game.
Here comes the Rams punter now, as he'll punt it away for the 2nd time. That'll be a 41-yard punt, just 1 yard on the return. And they will take over 1st and 10. As Seattle now ready to march out of the field. And thus far, the weather has not slowed this offense down one bit. They've looked good so far in the first half.
They certainly have, and think back to our meeting with the head coach, and we asked him because we saw the forecast for this game, didn't we? We said, hey, have you prepared for this? And he talked about the different drills that they've done in adverse conditions, the wet ball drills, things of that nature. He said, I don't think it's going to slow us down much. We tend to handle it pretty well, and he's been right.
The Smith's throw caught here by Metcalf. And they'll get him down after a pickup of 8, 2nd and 2. On 2nd down, it's Walker. And he'll bring it up here to right at the 40-yard line. And hold on here, because on that last run, it looks like we have a player who was shaken up. While they come out and take a look at him, we will step aside for just a moment. Now a first down throw. It's Smith. Catch is made by Metcalf. And they'll get this well past midfield before being stopped just before the 35. 23 yards on the play. They like going to him in the slot. He catches another one.
I think this comes under the heading of until they stop him, why not go back to it? He has something going really well. Great working relationship with the guy throwing the ball, and they keep making the connection.
So from Rams territory now, it's 1st and 10 at the 36. From the gun, they'll try to run it. And he can only manage to get a couple. 2nd and 8 coming up.
Well, any lane that might have been open there was closed pretty quickly, and that was because the defensive front, they won that battle at the point of attack at the line of scrimmage. They used great leverage, held their spot, and stacked him up.
From the 35 on 2nd down, Smith. And this one taken in on the right sideline, but not in the field of play. They say it's incomplete. The throw led him a little too far. It brings up 3rd down. That is the first time that they've targeted him that he has not come down with a catch.
He's caught everything that's been thrown his way, a dominant pass receiver that can break down any defense, because when he's doing that kind of work, it really hurts you on the back end.
And even though it's an incompletion there, I think they're going back to that well. And now the 3rd down throw incomplete as well.
Certainly looked like maybe his 3rd or his 4th read on his progression. Just trying to find his outlet man that time. Ends up leading him just a bit too much.
On comes the Seahawk kicker here on 4th down. It's Jason Myers. This will be kicked from the 42. It's a 52-yard attempt. Myers' kick is good, and that will extend their lead even further. So 3 points there, and they continue to build this first-half lead.
Yeah, every little bit helps, and the more that you can put together drives and start controlling the tempo, controlling possession, finishing with points, the better off you're going to be.
Myers now converted on the field goal try. Now he's on to kick it away. From the 10. And they'll have good field position here as he's out of bounds up at about the 34-yard line. Now the Rams offense getting the football back. And we don't want to call this desperation time, especially in the 2nd quarter, but you're down.
You don't want to.
No, but let me finish.
Okay, my bad.
You're down 3 scores already. You've done nothing offensively, nothing on the scoreboard. That's not a good combination.
I think you just called it desperation time. I think you did. But let's face it, you mentioned this to me in a break earlier in the game. The energy level hasn't been there right from the start. We've noticed that. They've got to find a way to get on their toes and start punching instead of retreating, to use a boxing analogy.
Throwing on first down, but this one winds up to be incomplete.
To this point, I've been impressed with the work defensively. They have not allowed a lot of receivers to run free. And there's another example, another incompletion.
From the 34, they'll come to the line on 2nd and 10. Throwing is Stafford. That's caught left side. It's Higbee, the tight end. That'll leave them with a 3rd and 2 coming up. They got 8 yards there.
Well, that's always a good place to throw it, just because he's one of the biggest targets not only on this team but in the National Football League.
And you and I both know the quarterbacks love these large-body tight ends, and why not? Nowadays, they're really wide receivers who are just taller and have a little bit more weight. These guys catch the football, make big plays downfield. In the old days, we wanted them to block. Now coaches want them to catch the football first.
Now throwing on 3rd down there, but he cannot connect.
Sometimes it's just not your day. There's another failure right there on 3rd down.
The passing game not in sync here early, and now it's 4th down. Here comes the Rams punter now, as he'll come on to kick this one away. He's been a busy man here in this first half as he gets it away. And great special teams work here. This is knocking on the door of the 5. They'll spot it at the 6-yard line.
Absolutely love the flexibility of these punters. Their leg drive, able to get it way up in the air, and that allows their punt team to get down there and down it inside the 10 because they've had some time.
And the Seahawks get ready to trot out on the field.
Last time out, you remember their drive stalled, but thanks to their kicker, booted a long field goal to at least get them 3. Now here they'll try to do better and find the end zone.
And in our experience, how much fun is it for coaches to know that they've got a kicker who can nail it from long distance? Now, the hard part is, as an offensive play caller, you don't want that in your head too much where you're relying on it, and he goes out and gets the job done for them. But I'm quite sure he would be content to just kick extra points from here on out.
Yeah, absolutely no question. I think his teammates would be okay with him just kicking the extra points as well. Up the middle, here's Walker.
And the running lane's non-existent in this first half as they'll stop him behind the line. Now that sends him 2 yards in the wrong direction and leads to 2nd down.
The running lanes have definitely not been there for him here in the first half, and I don't think it's all been his fault. His offensive line hasn't given him much space. A loss results there.
Well, the first play of the drive lost 4. Now they'll look to move it forward here on 2nd and 14.
Sticking with Walker on 2nd down.
And he'll get this only up to about the 3-yard line. Now the Seahawks going to use the first of their timeouts as they'll stop it with a tick under a minute to go before half. Facing the prospect of a punt from their own end zone, they need some cushion. Let's see what they can do on 3rd down. They'll try and run this one right up the gut. And he's able to get this one up to the 8-yard line this time. Now a 2nd timeout called for by the defense as they get the stoppage with a little over 50 seconds to go in the first half. Now here's Michael Dixon as his first punt will come from inside his own end zone. Fair catch called for. No gimme in these conditions, but he's able to look this one in. So a change of possession here on the punt.
And it will be 1st and 10 as they take over. First and 10 here. You know, if they could just get 3 out of this, there's something about narrowing it to a 2-score game at half that makes it feel like much less of an obstacle. That's out to the flat for Akers.
And he's able to take it across midfield before going out of bounds.
Second down and 3.
Now Stafford.
Akers back-to-back catches. And they're going to get this down to about the 37.
Well, these guys have definitely been outplayed in the first half, but I like their countenance. I like the way that they're having panicked out there, the way they're carrying themselves. They're starting to move the ball, and what you have to do, maintain your poise and start to put together some drives.
Line of scrimmage, the 37 on 1st and 10. Here's Stafford. To the sideline, and that is a heck of a catch as he was able to get both feet in. Looking to throw again on second down. Stafford.
And they're going to get this down inside the 20.
And they'll burn the timeout with 5 seconds left. A chance to try to add 3 points before heading to the locker room.
Let's do this, man.
Now with 5 seconds left, not really enough time to run another play and then stop it, so on comes the field goal unit. From the left hash, it's a 36-yard attempt. And his kick is indeed good. And they're on the board at least here. It's now 17-3. Now maybe a moral victory of sorts. They're on the board here late in the first half, but this offense just hasn't looked that sharp.
Yeah, but at least they got the 3 points, right? At least they have something to, quote-unquote, hang their hats on and maybe feel a little bit better about themselves as they head to the half.
So barring a touchback, this likely the final act of the half as the kick is away. Fielded right around the 8.
So we are at halftime here in downtown Seattle. All right, hang on. We'll jump over halftime. Welcome back. Charles and I settled into the booth, ready for quarter number 3.
Third quarter begins with a run by Walker.
And he's going to take this ahead for right around 3 yards, but no more than that. Second down. In the first half, he was held in check on the ground, but despite that lack of production, they still have the lead.
Yeah, and they've got to feel fortunate about that. If they could actually get production from their lead horse, that would help open up this offense and widen this margin too.
On 2nd and 7, Smith toward the center of the field, but it's incomplete. Trying to get their tight end involved finally. That's the first time that they've looked his way. He's kind of been a forgotten man in this offensive scheme.
Yeah, it didn't look his way at all in the first half, and I'll bet you the offense coordinator made a note at the half and said, let's get him involved because he could be a big-time playmaker for us.
Throwing on 3rd down, Smith. He lets it fly for Lockett. And that will be incomplete. Well, they weren't scared to let it fly, but it falls to the ground and brings up 4th down.
That's an excellent job right there on 3rd down. Like any defense, you never want to let them get anything started, and that would have been a 1st down. Instead, you saw the contact on time, no penalty, and before this drive could get wings, it's 4th down.
And here's Dixon to punt now as he gets this one away.
46 yards on the boot. The coverage holds him to just 3 on the return. Now the attention turns back to the Rams offense as they get ready for their first possession of the second half. And, Charles, they're certainly still right in this game, but they need that offense to wake up and in a hurry.
Yeah, I like the way you put it. They certainly did seem to sleepwalk a bit in the first half. Now that their defense has done its job, it's their turn now to go out and try and get some points.
Stafford and the Rams come up 1st and 10.
At their 25-yard line. Here's Stafford. That's complete to Robinson. Oh, look at the juke. And he'll take this to the other side of midfield before going out of bounds. The catch and run pays off for 29 yards.
And this was a nice example of an offensive coordinator scheming his guy open. Just a little underneath route, just trying to free up some space. And it worked awfully well. Got him not just space, but plenty of room to run after the catch to pick up really nice yardage.
So from Seahawk territory now, it's 1st and 10 at the 47.
Off the fake to Akers, here's Stafford. He'll check this down to Akers out of the backfield.
And a 5-yard gain gets him to the 42.
It's funny, throughout the time that we've been together, when we talk with running backs about the ability to catch the ball, their eyes light up when they talk about open field and having one-on-one matchups, don't they?
Yeah, they do. And that's the reason why. What we just saw, shedding those tackles, and that's what they're used to doing.
It is, and it starts at the beginning of the play. One-on-one matchup if someone's trying to cover them, but they also like those one-on-ones downfield after the catch when they're running with the ball. They think they're going to win those too.
It'll be a loss of a couple on the play, so now 3rd down coming up.
I see a shake of the head as he gets up, and you've got to imagine he's thinking, guys, you got to help me out. He's hoping his team can read his thoughts because he definitely needs some assistance.
And the line to gain here is the 37 on 3rd down. Stafford. They'll set up the screen here to Akers. And he is going to lose yardage here. They'll wind up losing a couple yards here on the play, and it'll be 4th down.
The whole idea of the screen pass is to fool the defense in a big way and create a big play.
They weren't fooled.
Not 1 second, not one bit. How about them figuring it out, diagnosing it, and spilling it for lost yardage?
Here comes the Rams punter now, as he'll punt it away for the 4th time today. And that ball's going to angle out at the 3-yard line. A beauty. So well done there. And these punters, they get more specialized and better each and every year, don't they?
They sure do. And now it's really not the American punters. It's the Australian punters with their kicking academies and that flat drop and just kind of kicking the nose of the football. They're able to almost stop it where they want to, like a good golfer can check one up.
3 tight ends in the ball game here on 1st and 10. They'll start this drive out on the ground. And he's going to get a solid gain of 9 before being brought down. 2nd and right at a yard.
And that run there does nothing but juice up the guys who are moving the football. I mean, if you're an offensive lineman, people running it, actually the guy calling plays, you're almost jumping up and down in jubilation, aren't you?
Yeah, now you've got options on 2nd down.
And big-time options. You might want to think about play action and try and get something cheap right here over the top.
And they'll bring him down here right around the 17-yard line. A gain of 5, good enough for the 1st down.
Well, you certainly have to give a little credit here because they're playing this game now at their pace. This is ball control football, sustained runs, taking their time, and making it work.
On 1st down, Smith. And this one caught along the sideline, but they say already out of bounds. Now the throw didn't give him a chance to turn it upfield, and that brings up 2nd down. Not his best throw there, but where we sit right now in the 3rd quarter, he's had a pretty good game throwing the football.
He certainly has, and it's not exactly at the point where we're doing 4-minute offense yet, but they've got to think about, I'm not going to say milking the clock, but understanding clock management here on out.
Throwing again on 2nd and 10. Smith. This is the tight end Fant. That'll leave them with a 3rd and 2 coming up. They got 8 yards there.
Let's just break this down and make it pretty simple. Key to the drag route, letting the play develop, finding the hole in the defense, and giving your athlete, yes, athlete, a chance to make something happen once he has the ball in his hands.
They'll come to the line, needing only 2 yards to gain the 1st here. 3rd and 2, Smith. Open man is Metcalf. He's got it. And he's going to be out of bounds right at midfield. A really nice gain of 25 yards.
And now we get into the psychology of the whole thing because a lot of teams with a 2-score lead in the 3rd quarter, they almost become defensive with their offense, just playing not to lose. I think with this team, you got to figure at this point, this is a great spot for them to go into attack mode, really try and put the hammer down and finish this one off.
Running right, here's Walker. He'll be taken down at the 48 for a pickup of 2 yards.
Oh, that's a real nice job there by the defensive front. They just engaged and held their ground. But how about the guy who made the play? We often talk about whether they take a good first step or not. Many times you just don't take any step. Just get your feet moving, get your body going, and then once he made the read, he was able to make the play.
From the gun, he'll hand this off.
And running room scarce here. He's going to be stopped in his tracks at the line of scrimmage.
2 runs in a row, but only 2 yards to show for it. If this defense wants to stay in this ball game, they've got to start ending some drives. That helps.
And they have to look ahead at what they expect the offense to do. And right now with that lead, that's run the football. So you don't just stack the line of scrimmage. You have to get upfield and try and make some plays in their backfield.
Throwing now is Geno. Now he'll dump it underneath to his running back, complete. And a nice job there defensively. They get him to the ground short of the first, right around the 42. So the completion good for 6 yards. And that's going to bring up a 4th down.
How about that strategy there, Brandon? 3rd down. They just said, we've got faith in our tacklers. We'll give you the short stuff, and just decided to protect the sticks. So every time I hear fans telling me tackling's not a part of the game anymore, plays like that, I can clip and save and show them you have to tackle well if you want to be a good defense.
A solid pickup of 5 and a very solid 4th down conversion. And defensively, pure frustration.
Looks to me like maybe there's a little attrition setting in with this drive, because when you see that type of a run, I get the feeling the defense getting a little bit tired.
And that's the last thing they need, especially when they look up at the scoreboard.
So the 4th down conversion has him inside the 40 now, 1st and 10. And Walker once more. And he maneuvers up the middle for 3, and it's 2nd down.
They're in a pretty good spot right now with a convincing lead. I think this is where they put on the boxing gloves, start to try and pound them into submission.
And the offensive line, they've controlled this game. I don't see why that trend would change now. The last run got 3. Now here's 2nd and 7. Smith now to throw. And that one going to come up short. Low throw.
Not too many things get to a quarterback of this magnitude, but I think it's safe to say that pressure can get to any quarterback.
He's obviously a great franchise quarterback, but felt the pressure, threw it incomplete. So 3rd down, they need to get to the 28 for a first. A shotgun snap for Smith. He's going to let this go. Back of the end zone. End zone caught. Touchdown, Seattle. DK Metcalf with his 2nd touchdown of the afternoon. And the Seahawks are able to extend their lead in the final seconds of this 3rd quarter.
That drive that really increased their cushion felt very military to me. Very precise, methodical. That's one of the words you've taught me. And they just got it done.
And slowly but surely now starting to pull away a little bit. Things looking good for them here in the 3rd quarter.
Not only pulling away, but you mentioned that slowly but surely. You also drain clock, too, with a drive like that. So you really give yourself an advantage.
Myers connects on the PAT. And the lead now to 3 touchdowns at 21. On 1st down at Stafford. Open man right side is Cup, complete. And he'll get this up past the 25 before he's out of bounds.
An ex-teammate used to tell me all the time, I hate experienced quarterbacks because no matter what, you really can't hide what you're doing. And I think that right there, he knew right away where the blitz was coming from, where his primary guy was going to be, and he ended up going to a secondary target for a nice game.
I was just going to ask you, that wasn't the primary target. He's so good at that, isn't he?
I think he knew right away that he wasn't going to get to his primary guy. I think he read that as soon as he got to the line of scrimmage, knew where the pressure was going to come from, and said, I know how to beat that.
Back now in Seattle, Washington. A lot of happy faces in the crowd at this point as their guys have a big lead here to start quarter number 4. Trying to get it to Robinson, and it's intercepted. Picked off by Quandre Diggs.
And the Seahawks are going to take possession of the football. But here in the 4th quarter, defensively, you know that you're just going to blanket the field with defensive backs and say, okay, take your best shot. And that time, it's intercepted.
And we've often seen teams go into the prevent early, way too early. And sometimes they get too soft in their coverages, but not in this case. They understood the situation and played it with the proper aggression.
Get a look at DK Metcalf as this offense returns to the field.
And I know that they've double-teamed him a couple times, but not a ton. Whatever they're doing isn't working. He's up over 100 yards. We'll see how they adjust.
And when they do that, they weaken their defense in other places as well. And how many times have we done games where we've seen a guy have a big game like this, but it's usually not by himself, is it? Right. Usually it opens it up for other people to have big games as well.
Now he's tackled a yard short of the marker. Good gain of 9 on first down. Now, I think we can get used to seeing more of that in this fourth quarter, especially if they're having success on the ground like they did there.
Yeah, I think back when we met with the head coach in preseason, and all he talked about was building a bully. And I think it was this situation he was envisioning. Trying to ice a game, plenty of time left, but being able to give the ball to his big runner and pound away and try and finish off a game.
They'll get 3 as the drive continues. It's a first down. From the gun, it's Walker. And the play goes nowhere. Losing yardage back near the 40 at the 39. The all-everything defensive tackle, Aaron Donald, the one who made the play there.
Sometimes you just sit back and marvel at what he can do defensively. Speed, strength, quickness, he's the whole package. And that package just wrapped up the runner for a loss.
Sticking with Walker on second down.
And he'll get 4 here down to the 35-yard line.
Brandon, I've got to think this offensive line has got some smiles on its faces. And I know it sounds crazy, but they practiced for this back in training camp. They knew they'd be in situations where it'd be extra defenders in the box coming after them, trying to keep them from locking down a game. Right now, they want to show the world they're up to the challenge.
Geno now to throw. And he'll just get rid of it.
Well, their passing attack, even though that one was incomplete, has been really sharp in this one. It's resulted in a lot of touchdowns, and it looks like they're not going to stop throwing the football until the very end of this one.
Well, that will certainly make everyone involved on offense pretty happy because that gives them all a chance to pad their stats a bit. But as far as the actual need, you and I both know they can just run this clock out because this one, it was over a long time ago.
And this one is no good. He missed it. And the lead will hold at 3 touchdowns. Well, they can probably live with that with this late lead in the fourth quarter. That's one of the few things that's gone wrong.
You're exactly right. This one was well in hand. That kick there was more for cosmetics, you know, to add to their score. Not getting it, that shouldn't harm them at all.
Here's a Los Angeles offense as they get set to take possession.
Their defense was able to hold serve, albeit with a little help from that missed field goal as they settled in now 1st and 10.
They go back to the air here after the INT on the last drive.
That one thrown away from the pocket. The officials kind of looking at each other, but they'll say there was a receiver in the area, so no penalty, just an incomplete pass.
They lead big, and a major part of that has been how they've taken their play to a whole new level this second half. No points allowed since the break, and you can add another incompletion to the total number that they forced in this runaway contest.
Here's a throw out wide, complete to his running back right side.
And he'll be taken down, but not before they work this to the 45. A 3-score game here late. You can probably rule out the comeback, but certainly some kind of a moral victory to be had if they can get a few more points to close things out. And to that end, a nice pass play there to push things downfield.
Yeah, and we know in this league, a loss is a loss, and no one wants anything to count as a moral victory or, boy, something that feels a little bit cheap. But if they trim that lead down to just 2 scores, that's still a benefit to this squad.
They'll wind up getting 7 on the play, and it's 2nd down. He's been a busy man here in this one, and they're showing off some nice footwork to stay in bounds.
And with those types of catches and the volume that we've seen in this game, wouldn't you keep him busy as well?
I would.
Of course. You got to keep throwing it to him. He keeps making plays.
Throwing again on 2nd down. Stafford. And he drops it incomplete. And their struggles continue here. Well, the trials and tribulations of being a quarterback in this league, it's tough. It's got to be wearing on him out there.
Well, he has been sacked a number of times. He had an interception, so I'm going to give him a skosh of credit for hanging in there and trying to make something happen, despite the amount of pressure he's been under this entire game.
Throwing again is Stafford. Man open, it's Cup. He's got it.
And he'll be brought down at about the 23-yard line. Well, those are the types of plays they probably wish they had made more of in the first 3 quarters. And this deficit going to be tough to overcome here in the fourth. But a nice first down and a pickup on that throw.
Yeah, and this is where as coaches, you're looking for effort and execution. Even though the scoreboard is going against you, you want to find out who's going to fight, who's going to scrap, who's going to keep their heads up and continue to play.
All right, rifles one, and that's going to be intercepted. Picked off by Kobe Bryant.
The 40, 20, 10, and he will take this one home. It's a touchdown.
Well, just add that to the list of great moments for this defense today. They've really shredded that game plan on the other side all 4 quarters. And, Charles, that pick 6, that's kind of the cherry on top.
Yeah, and they did it, and I feel like I'm quoting a bad movie line, but they did it together, didn't they? Fed off of each other, every big play they made, every tackle, every pick, everything they've done. They continually built energy in this one, and how about them culminating with a pick 6?
Extra point up and through by Myers, and that'll increase their lead to 28. So the defense creating some points, not only getting the interception, but then returning it to the end zone for the pick 6. Stafford here, coming off his pick 6. Toward the right sideline, but it's incomplete.
And that's another play that's painted the picture of this game overall. It's been a blowout. It's been continually fueled by big turnovers and stops for one side and an inability to advance the ball from the other.
Following the incomplete pass, here they go again. 2nd and 10 from the 25. Stafford now to throw. Open man, Higbee, the tight end. And he's going to get a good gain of 9 here up to the 34. And that tight end position, it just seems to continue to evolve every year in the NFL.
Yeah, you're getting really terrific athletes. A lot of them maybe were wide receivers at one point that continue to give you speed, great hands, and big bodies, which make them excellent targets for quarterbacks.
Gonna let one fly for Robinson.
And this is incomplete. Oh, he looked like he had a pretty good line on that one. That would have been a big play, but he could not pull it in.
Even with such a big lead late, the effort hasn't lapsed one bit. If the
Desperation time for Stafford on 4th down. Now a desperation throw deep downfield.
On Stafford for the 3rd time is intercepted. Tariq Woolen picks it. And the Seahawks are in great shape here as they take over at their 46-yard line. So a nice play defensively by the rookie coming up with the INT.
And that's a late-round pick right there, making a first-round impact. And a lot of these day 3 corners, they end up winding up on special teams and sub-packages and even on the practice squad. But he's
So the victory here for Seattle. And we talk so much about the turnover battle, determining who wins, who loses. This game, no exception. Error-free football, no turnover.